On Lifelines, we share real stories that carry heartbeats, stories that shake the soul, stir the spirit, and remind us what we're made of. This is the story of a quiet woman, and the day she shocked an entire gym into silence, not with anger, not with violence, but with power, grace, and a strength no belt could measure. It started as a joke, but it ended as a moment no one there would ever forget. On a humid Tuesday afternoon in Atlanta, the sweat-soaked mats of Iron Forge Dojo echoed with the sound of thuds, grunts, and the occasional bark of instruction. It was just another day of sparring and discipline. Among the rows of regulars and competitors stood Darius Denock Hill, a local legend. He was tall, built like a tank, and wore his black belt like a crown. Charismatic and loud, he often dominated the room with energy and ego. That day, a new member had joined the gym, a soft-spoken black woman in her early 30s named Ama Thomas, slim, composed, and quiet. So quiet, some thought she might be lost. She filled out the waiver, tied her loner GI, and stretched in the corner. Darius noticed her from across the room and chuckled. Who let the librarian in? He joked to a group of students. More laughter followed. Later, during warm-ups, Darius walked over to her with a grin. "Wanna go around, just for fun?" His voice dripped with mockery, like he was offering a game of tag. Everyone turned to watch. She looked up at him calmly and said, "Sure, if you're ready." No one knew what she meant, but they would. Darius waved to the instructor for permission. A teaching moment. Ama stepped onto the mat, barefoot and poised. Her stance was centered, balanced, controlled. Some of the students whispered, "She looks like she's never done this before. This is gonna be embarrassing." Poor thing. Darius moved first, a lunge, half speed, to test her. What happened next was like watching time bend. In one seamless motion, Ama sidestepped, shifted her weight, and used his own momentum to flip Darius onto his back. Hard, but clean. Silence. Darius jumped up, half laughing, half stunned. Okay, lucky move," he smirked. He came in again, quicker this time, with intention. A sharp attempt at a leg sweep. Ama pivoted, countered, and locked his wrist mid-sweep. Before anyone could blink, she had him pinned. Not with brute force, but with technique so refined, it stunned even the instructors. The gym fell completely still. No one spoke, no one breathed. Darius, gasping, tapped out. After the match, Darius sat on the bench, drenched in sweat, his pride bruised more than his body. He looked at Ama, who had already begun helping another student stretch, like nothing had happened. He walked over, this time not with mockery, but with respect. "Where'd you learn to move like that?" he asked. Ama smiled, here and there. The head instructor approached and shook her hand. "That wasn't beginner's form. You trained somewhere before, didn't you?" She nodded. "Yes, Japan. I studied Aikido and Jiu-Jitsu, but that was a long time ago." Turns out Ama had spent years in Asia as a martial arts interpreter and practitioner, working with elders and learning not just how to fight, but why people fight. She had walked away from competitions, from belts, from ego, after a personal loss had taught her that strength wasn't for showing off, it was for protecting, but simply to reconnect with the discipline she once loved, in silence, in peace. But peace sometimes walks into the middle of noise, and still manages to be heard. The video of the sparring session made it to social media by that night, captioned, "He challenged her as a joke and got schooled in seconds." It exploded, not because AMA was flashy, not because she was aggressive, But because she was everything most people overlooked, confident without being loud, disciplined without being boastful, powerful without needing to prove it, comments flooded in. This woman just embodied grace under pressure. Quiet strength is the loudest kind. I need to be more like her in my own life, always measured by appearance, but never defined by it. The next week at the gym, Darius didn't joke when AMA entered. He stood, bowed, and said 2 words you don't often hear in places built on ego. Teach me. AMA didn't gloat. As a partner, as an equal. Not to dominate, but to elevate. That moment, silent, humble, and full of mutual growth, became the real victory. Because strength isn't just in the throw. It's in knowing when to extend your hand after the fall. And she didn't just silence the gym with her skill. She awakened it with her presence. This was not just a story about a match on a mat. This was a reminder that in a world that often underestimates, misjudges, or laughs too soon, there are people walking quietly among us, carrying oceans of depth, strength, and purpose. Amma didn't raise her voice. She didn't demand attention. Here on Lifelines, we believe in those kinds of stories, the ones that start in whispers and end in echoes.